Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Karma. Hi, my name is Karma Spence and I help entrepreneurs write a lead attracting book in 90 days or less. Now, have you ever struggled with going deep enough in your content that you are providing value, but being brief enough that you're not boring everyone to death? Well, then listen to today's episode because I'm going to be giving you 5 tips to balance that depth with brevity so that you can have valuable content that gets the ge- gets to the point. Karma, get to the point. I talked about that yesterday, didn't I? Hmm. Hmm. So, I've got 5 tips to you and the first one is clearly define your objective before you start writing. If you don't know where you want to end up, how are you going to get there? Another way of saying that is if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. No one plans to fail. It's a silly phrase, but you get the meaning. If you know where you're heading, you know what the goal of your writing is, then you'll better be able to get there. Tip number 2, and that is use precise language. And I did talk about this a little bit yesterday, but use okay, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. So there's the root words that are strong and get to the point, and then there are the flowery words. Usually, I believe it's like the Germanic words in English, we're talking English here, obviously. I think it's like the Germanic words tend to be visceral and to the point, whereas the French ones tend to be a little bit more foofy because of the class structure of when those words were created. The people the French were further away from the animals, so, it was no longer you weren't eating sheep, you were eating something else. I can't remember what the word is, but you get the point. Use the stronger, deeper, more visceral words that get to the point more quickly and stay away from the flowery words. Go away, little pop-up. Okay. And you wanna choose specific words. Again, like my example yesterday, don't use utilize. That has a very specific meaning, and it doesn't apply in most cases, and it just makes you sound pretentious, so don't do it. Tip number 3, another good way to get to the point very quickly is to use bullets. Bullet points and lists, kinda like what I do with this episode. I have a list of 5 things, and it helps me stay under 10 minutes. Sometimes I'm actually able to stick to 5, which was my goal. So bullet points can help you do that because it breaks up the copy, adding white space to your book, and it just makes it easier to read. Employ analogies and metaphors. Now, sometimes analogies and metaphors can make something longer, but they can sometimes they can explain something more quickly. So it depends on the analogy or the metaphor and the topic you're on, but when they make things more clear more quickly, use them. And number 5 is balance details and summaries. So sometimes you need to get into the nitty-gritty of a topic and get detailed, and sometimes you really just want a summary and save the details for some other option. So books are often I mean, they're great. Books are great, but they rarely go so deep that you could now get a degree from reading one book. There are more summaries, and they pull all sort of stuff together, and when you're talking about lead generating books, that's really what you need to be doing. You need to be telling people, "Here's the bigger picture. If you want more details, let's talk." And that's not only so that you get business, it's also so that the book is more readable. Because if you gave every single detail, the book would be completely useless. It would be completely useless because no one would read it, or they'd only read part of it. So you need to really balance how much you say to make it readable. So there you go. 5 tips. Clearly define your objectives, use precise language, incorporate bullets and lists, employ analogies and metaphors, and balance detail with summaries. I hope you found those 5 tips helpful? Tomorrow is Fun Friday, and boy, do I have some fun Fridays planned out for the next several weeks. Tomorrow, I'm really looking forward to. I'm gonna be sharing book marketing lessons I learned from watching 1950s sci-fi movies. Be there, be square. See you tomorrow. Ciao for now.